everybody, it's April and Gracie. We are here to share with you today the way to become a watercolor wonder. Given the right stamp with the right lines and some Spectrum Aqua markers, it's easy to make it look like you are a professional artist. Watercolor is all the rage right now, and as a craft hoarder and an HSN fanatic on craft day, I ordered these markers, and some of you probably have ordered them too. So I'm going to show you how to take these markers, and I've got a stamp that I bought at Michael's that is perfect for watercolor. Let me show you this technique. Just ignore Rob Pattinson's face. I use a mouse pad to stamp on, and it keeps the image even. So what you're going to need in order to do this technique is a stamp, and this stamp, the lines aren't really rigid, they're very fluid, and I think that's why it makes this block a good stamp to stamp with for watercolor, especially when you're first starting out, because the professionals make watercolor look easy, but it's really not. It does take some practice, but I think if you start out with a stamp that is conducive to watercoloring, then you can practice on that and work your way towards something a little more complex. You need a waterproof ink. VersaFine is a good ink. Archival ink by Ranger, that's also a good ink. For this particular horse, I'm going to use the Vintage Sepia because I like the brown and I want my horse to be brown, so I'm thinking that'll work out well. I have my Spectrum Aqua markers. You can use any watercolor markers for this. So you've got distress markers, you have the Zig clean brush markers that are watercolor markers, Tombow, any of those will work just fine with this. For this particular project, I'm going to use the Spectrum Aqua. You will need water. I have 2 different little bowls of water. You will need brushes. You can use these water brushes. I found that I am too heavy-handed and I squeeze out too much water and I cause my watercolor to get too runny, and therefore it kind of spreads out of the lines where I don't really want it to spread. So I found that I like watercolor brushes, and I can control the amount of water I put on them and therefore control how my image looks. So I've got, I guess, a number 7, 2 number 7s, and a number 4, and all of these are round brushes. And Sandy Allnock has an awesome tutorial about watercolor brushes, and I will put that down in the description so that you can go link to that. It's really a good video. Very, very informative. You'll need a paper towel so that you can dip your excess water off. I find the less water you use, the better. And I think that's it. So let's get started. This stamp, by the way, is W116 Philly Sketch, and it is by Stampendous. And if I can find somewhere where it's sold, and I did get this at Michael's, I'll link it down below. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. Also, the absorber. You can get it at Walmart in the auto department. There are probably other places you can get it as well. It's $9.96, I think, for a giant sheet, I think 12 by 27. And all you do, I cut it up, as you can see. I went to a class and the instructor had the absorber cut up into little squares, and that's what she used to clean off her stamp. So I went out, got one, cut it up. So far I've been very pleased. I think one of the great benefits is you're not throwing away wipes, so you're not filling landfills, and there's no lint, so you don't get any lint on your stamp.
so I'm taking the darker brown and I'm going over the lines that are left in this particular part of the image. And then I'm going to take my number 7 round brush, get it wet, and then take it off to the side and kind of dab it on my paper towel to get off the excess dampness. Because I don't want too much water. Like there, I think I have a little more water than what I would like, but I'm going to go ahead with it. And if I'm truly unhappy with it, then I can dab it off with a paper towel. But I think it's okay. And I'm just following these lines with my wet brush, just like I did when I took the marker across it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just let that dry, and I'm going to do the same thing to this part of the image. I'm going to take my chestnut, go along the lines, and go like here. I'm going to leave the chest white, and I'm going to take my sepia and go along the lines as well. And I'm just going to mix these two colors. I am going to take the darker color along his jaw because there would be a shadow there. And then I took the darker on the outside edge and I'm going to mix in the chestnut so that I get that same reddish tone in the brown, in the darker brown. Again, just going along the lines, just like I did with the marker. I'm going to get my brush wet and then dab it on a paper towel so that I don't have too much water. I'm just pulling this color down along the lines. Just kind of doing a wavy brush stroke, just like the waviness of the image is. Okay, I'll rinse off my brush, dab, and I'm going to come do the other lines. And again, just pull that color, wet my brush when I feel like I need more water, and dab it off. And then continue the process. And there'll be some color going into the white, but that's okay because fur is going to be that way naturally. Alright. So now I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing, but I'm just going to I'm going to stop talking and let you watch me paint. Same process, dab, tap,
So as you can see, I have the majority of the image colored, but there are some things that I want to touch up. Like here, I don't like that it's so jagged right there, so I'm going to get this wet, and I may have to sacrifice the white chest, but you know, it is what it is. And then I want to put a little bit of dark on this part of the ear. So what I'm going to do is take the sepia, and this is the marker. I'm going to grab some color with my brush from the marker and just add it to his ear. And that gets me my darker color, just like here, in the image without having to draw on the paint that's already wet. And then I'm going to darken the eyelids, and just add some color. And then I think I'm pretty happy with that look. Actually, I think I am just going to go ahead and fill that in. There we go. I like that. Alrighty, now I have some peach for the nostrils. In this one nostril, I've kind of colored brown, but see how when I add the peach, the color that's already there is picked up a little bit. And then I'm going to use my number 4 brush, dab it in the water, take some of the excess out, and then just add the water to the peach that I just put on the image. And when this dries, I will take the bullet end of my pen and kind of add a stronger line to the eye, just so there's some more definition, because if you look on the stamp, the eye is more defined. And that's it. It's when you have an image like this, you're setting yourself up for a successful watercolor. It's when you get into the more complex that it gets a little more difficult, a little more challenging, and you really need to practice. So I will have another tutorial with this horse using the black ink, and then I've got some gray markers from the Spectrum Aqua line, and I will color the black image with those, and you get a totally different look with that. I hope you enjoyed this. If you purchased the Spectrum Aqua markers on Craft Day with HSN, or you just purchased them online somewhere and they're still in the package, get them out of the package. We craft hoarders need to start using our hoard, and it's so much fun with the right image to do this watercoloring, and you can create a beautiful card, and it looks like you're kind of an artist when you do it. So everyone have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.